Hello, this is Kent Philpott again, and this is program number 10. It's just going to be this one and one more, and we are moving to conclusions and thoughts. Now, as I studied the nature of this religion, the superstitious nature of it jumped out at me. The magical processes that stand at the center of the rituals cannot be ignored by simply taking the cultural anthropologist's way of observing something interesting without attaching moral value to it. To so many, religion is nothing more than a form of theater with no good or bad labels attached. Beyond the magic, even more to the core of the religion of the Orishas is possession. The mounting of the Iawo at Asiento, a straightforward acknowledgement, even goal, of the god or goddess to invade the individual and take that person over. Now consider that's something that is desired to be taken over. The priests and priestesses of Santeria are possessed by gods and goddesses and thus direct other people how to live. There can be no answer to that question, but any slavery is brutal, barbaric, and evil. Evil, the dimensions of evil, the monstrousness of it, will likely only be known to us in some far distant future when its hideous presence has been abolished and the goodness of the Creator God is fully revealed. This essay is titled From Slavery to Slavery. Evil rarely appears evil. What began with a tribal religion amongst the West Africans who were transported to the New World and terribly enslaved developed by means of Santeria into slavery of a different kind. The slavery that I see in Santeria is also terrible, and no comparisons can I give or even hint at, but it is enough to say that there is an awful and most unseen slavery at the heart of Santeria. Has Santeria been beneficial to its adherents? Is Santeria the reason the Yoruba culture survived? And is maintaining ties to the ancient tribal culture worth the cost of trading one kind of slavery for another? There's an emotional component to this. People want to and take pride in maintaining their cultural identity, to continue those things that that grandma and grandpa and dad and mom did. We have an emotional investment there to continue those practices, and I understand the emotional pull to that. I do indeed. It could be viewed even as a form of addiction, and we know that addictions can kill us, can be very harmful to us. But let me get back to the essay. I write this essay because so much of what has been Santeria is morphing to meet the challenges of the postmodern world. The Ilis are becoming churches. Men's drumming group are becoming a means for evangelizing Santeria on American college and university campuses. Animal sacrifices are far less common, and the carcasses of dead animals are rarely left for a skeptical public to discover. The wild and implausible stories of the Orishas or the Patakis. Patakis are by the hundreds, maybe thousands, that are stories of obviously capricious, human-like gods who do all kinds of crazy things, and the Patakis are stories told by the Santeros and Santeras that are supposed to have some kind of meaning to them, and people derive some sort of sense out of them. I've seen a number of them, and they're interesting stories. But the wild and implausible stories of the Orishas or the Patakis are heard and written about much less often. And when you read some of the Patakis and some of the stories of the Orishas, you'll understand why. And as De La Torre writes, quote, the African influences within the religion are minimized as religion advocates more broadly Christian ethical perspectives and principles. So they are syncretistic. They will grab a hold of it, whatever they want to, but also, of course, it's a means of hiding. The West African gods hid amongst the Roman Catholic images and saints, and so it is now as we find Santeria moving into America, adapting themselves to mainstream biblical Christian images and concepts. Santeria, due to the fact the religion found itself immersed in in a Spanish Catholic world, had to go underground. It had to keep its secrets secret, understood. But now, in a different time and place, Santeria means to capture its share of all strata of those hungry for a fuller spiritual life. Santeria is very spiritual. Santeria will give people the sure knowledge that there is something beyond just the flesh and blood matter. It will move you away from atheistic and agnostic concepts, but into a place that is not holy and it has nothing to do with the sovereign God of creation. So it means to capture it. Indeed, as Miguel de la Torre has so well said, quote, "What was once the religion of the uneducated black lower economic class is becoming the religion of educated middle-class whites." Today, well-known musical groups, having adapted the beautiful and captivating African and Latin drum rhythms, are opening up doors through which new converts, largely unsuspecting potential converts, are entering. One interesting statistic is that Brazil, with its 190 million people, Santeria adherence may run as high as 90%. The future will see the institutionalizing of Santeria, which will become immediately apparent by typing Santeria into a Google search. Right now, Santeria has more people devoted to it than many Christian denominations. In fact, it is being viewed now as a world religion, alongside of Buddhism, Hinduism, Islam, and so on. Murphy sees the emergence of Santeria and speculates, quote, "We must wait to see where and when the Orishas may emerge to mount America at large." Murphy is confident in Santeria's ability to win acceptance in America, and so is Raul Canizares. Murphy looks to the religion's history and sees a story of survival, a miracle in light of the enslavement and removal of a period people from the old to the new world. It is often said that the human tragedy of slavery of the body did not become slavery of the spirit. It is this that I question. It is this that I question. Will continued acceptance of Santeria bring freedom or slavery? A look at the teachings and practices of the religion lead me to think that slavery is the answer. What slavery do I have in mind? Slavery to a religion that controls almost every aspect of life. Slavery to a faith captured by superstition and magical practices. Slavery to a paranoid mindset where spells and curses are cast and are needing to be protected against. Slavery to the spirits of the dead. Slavery to the necessity of placating the Orishas and meeting their demands. Slavery to a class of priests and priestesses whose very words are to be considered the words of a deity. Slavery to the spirits, the saints called Orishas, those entities who are in fact nothing more than unclean or demonic spirits. Finally, practitioners of Santeria may display their opposition toward those Christians who challenge their belief systems. I have dozens of emails to substantiate this. Why would this be so? I see a fear-based response to clear biblically oriented confrontations, which is because Jesus, and only Jesus Christ of Nazareth, has power and authority over demonic spirits. During the earthly ministry of Jesus, He cast out demons, and it troubled and amazed the people of his day, including the religious leaders. He also gave his disciples authority to do the same, and they have done so over the centuries. The Apostle John even said, the reason the Son of God appeared was to destroy the works of the devil. And then James said, submit yourselves therefore to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Ultimately, the reason for this essay is to speak a word of grace, peace, and mercy to those entangled in Santeria. My intent is also to caution those drawn to Santeria. There's more to it than meets the eye. So long.